Joe the Tree versus the Priest. Notre Dame versus oh, don't give me them rolled
Catholics versus trees. Is that a new shirt?
Catholics versus a tree. Okay. Notre Dame versus Stanford. Your thoughts on this game? This is your team. I'm gonna let you go. What are your thoughts on this game?
Blake, I'm not going to read any stats. I'm not going to talk about any players because you know what? This Stanford team's not good, and they're dealing with injuries, especially at quarterback. You know what I'm going to bring up? The same thing that you and I have argued about and yelled about every single week, Blake, and the thing that I have lamented over with Notre Dame, the team that I root for. What I'm going to bring up, this is the ultimate trap. You come out of the bye, everybody was on vacation. I don't know what everybody was doing during the bye week. If you were focused and you were locked in, you're going to kill Stanford. It's at home. You move on. Next game. This is a cakewalk opportunity. But all I'm paying attention to, Blake, if they're not working them early and they're not putting up points in the first quarter and they're not starting to separate quickly, I'm going to be losing my mind during this whole game because I just know that this is the total opportunity where Notre Dame gets upset because they're playing flat. So to sum up what I just said, please, Marcus Freeman, please let you have put in effort this week in preparing your team and that you're not going to pull an NIU or a Stanford like you did before or a Marshall or a Louisville or a Clemson. Please get everybody locked in so that we can start to feel good in a year where the playoff seems to be pretty open and you need to get a huge blowout win. You're welcome for that.
I think somebody is in real trouble here.
Stop it. Stop. There's nothing to suggest what you have seen that. Go ahead.
Okay. And I agree that team is not Notre Dame. If you can't, it's not Notre Dame. I do agree. I think Stanford's in a little bit of trouble. Now, if you cannot throw the football on them, you better have a very tough conversation with yourself if you can't throw on this team, that you might need to start switching some options up and keeping all options open. Not saying Riley Leonard's getting pulled, not saying that he's not a good quarterback. What I'm saying is I'm going to say it. This is the worst secondary that you're going to face down your stretch. You're halfway through the year.
Most likely.
It's the worst secondary that you're going to see. Joe, I need to see you throw the football around. I don't know if you have the weapons that if you get in the playoffs that consistently can make plays. I hear you every offseason say we have the weapons on the outside. We don't have the guy that can get it to him. And that very well may be true. You might be 100% right on that, but I don't know. I think Greathouse, I don't know what to think about Greathouse. I don't know what to think about Bo Collins. I really don't. I think Bo Collins is good, but I don't know if Leonard can consistently get them the football. Joe, we're going to find out in this game if you can't throw the football effectively, if it's him missing dudes or mistiming or whatever, because they're going to back out in every coverage. I mean, Kyle McCord shredded this team.
Yeah.
Shredded this team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so, look, man, this is what I want to see. Like if which I'm not, I tune into every Notre Dame game. That's why I was texting you in the third quarter, early in the third quarter when y'all were playing NIU. But I am going to, if I did not watch this game, like if I went in a coma for 24 hours on a Saturday and I woke up on Sunday, the first thing I want to see is how many yards did Notre Dame throw for. I'm telling you, you're not going to face a worse secondary. I want to get Jeremiah Love the football a little bit more too. Like, I don't think you're utilizing him enough. I know you're trying to give him breathers or whatever. That dude is electric. Get him the football. But I'm telling you, man, Joe, I'm gonna be very critical of what they're doing moving forward if you can't throw the football on this team.
Yeah, that to talk actual like X's and O's minus my screaming about like the team actually being prepared. If you're playing a good game, and you're going to probably have to throw the ball more than you would think in a game like this. Stanford's run defense is one of the better ones in the country. They're 12th so far this year in yards allowed on the ground. So they've been productive at stopping opposing rushing attacks, they are probably going to need to try and throw the ball. And if they can't connect, to your point, they're facing a horrid secondary, a secondary that allowed a ton of big plays to their opponents so far this year. If you can't get over, and right now Notre Dame's averaging 171 yards per game. If you can't go over 250, Riley Leonard, that is where we need more. We need to accelerate. Well, I'm just trying to be like a little cautious here. Not cautious, but a little conservative. You're just conservative. Yeah, I get you. A little conservative because they're very run-centric. There's no reason why you can't hit over 250, 260 in this game. This is a situation, talking about get right week. This is the get right week for, you had the bye. You got to kind of analyze things of, maybe we can try working this receiver into the mix. KK Smith's the guy that gets brought up a ton, but hasn't really done much or really played much and is filled in. I don't know what Faison's availability is. He's been banged up. So to have an ability to evaluate and to step in and say, all right, we're going to use this as the opportunity to be as potent offensively throwing the ball as possible and to build confidence in that area, and you can't succeed and you're forcing things like you did against NIU, I'm going to be pretty freaked out after the game.
Sometimes wins aren't great, but you're right. Here's the thing. Stanford, ironically, man, has been one of the best run defenses in the country. I mean, they're going to come out there in that 3-3-5 stack. They're going to throw some exotic shit at you in the run game. But quite honestly, what they do is they get really athletic safeties out there and they run around. Your O-lineman can't reach block, so they're coming around and crashing down on you, and that's been so effective for them. But their secondary has been the weakness because that's what they're doing every play to stop the run. They've gone after stopping the run. They would rather get thrown on than get run on. Joe, as someone who watched every single play that Mike Denbrock has called the last 2 years meaning not this season, okay, it's vastly dialed back. Like even when Jaden was struggling, okay, in 22 through those games, this ain't it, brother. And I know I talked to Mike, man. Like the conversation happened. Like he basically came out there in a press conference and was asked, it's like, brother, not only am I wide open, I'm giving shit to Jaden during the week, and we're scoring touchdowns on it the same week. Right. And so that's the part where I'm like, dude, this is not remotely close to what Mike wants to do. Like, Joe, Notre Dame fans should know the best statistical year that you had offensively throwing the football. Who was your OC? It legitimately was him. So I look at him and say to myself, trust me, go look it up if you want to. I promise you it is. Because y'all had, who was the wide receiver starts with an F, speedy guy.
No, you're talking about Faison. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was like Will Flores.
Oh, Will Fuller.
Just it's regardless if my year is off. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, this is not him. It's not.
No, I mean that I don't disagree with that, and I think that we might not get to see the real Mike Denbrock offense till Minchie takes over or CJ Carr takes over. Carr? I don't. Well, there's a lot of people that think that Minchie is going to start next year, and then Carr will take over after him, or Carr wins the job. There's a lot of time to figure that out, but.
All I am saying is he's dialed up to about 30% because he has no faith in it. This is not where they want to go. I'm telling you. Like, Joe, they were throwing the ball 40 times a game last year. They were wide ass. I know he had freaks of nature out there, and I'm not trying to put all this on Riley Leonard. Joe, you remember the games with slot fades and Kyron Lacey to tie the game against Alabama going into halftime. Joe, they're running two inside receivers on double routes and option routes, and Jaden's got to connect on it. What are we talking about here? This is the week that you got to find who you are throwing the football. Yeah, so absolutely. I'm taking Notre Dame. I think they're going to do it. I have a lot of faith in Mike. But please give Jeremiah Love the football a little bit more. It's all I'd say. Please.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL, are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.